Hi everyone and welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be going over the reasons why starting this YouTube channel is important, not only to me, but also to other people. The first reason is that this channel is a good creative outlet for me. I left Islam 5 years ago, and for most of that time, I was silent about my apostasy. I didn't talk to many people about it. I did tell a few people online, but only a handful of people, and I rarely ever spoke to them about my apostasy for 4 years. I also told many of my friends and acquaintances in the real world, but even then I rarely spoke about my apostasy. So for a good 4 years, I barely expressed my apostasy and mostly focused on dealing with non-religious affairs and commitments. This was really frustrating for me because I was suppressing an important aspect of my identity, mainly due to fear. As I have stated in my introduction video, I am in the closet and have been in the closet for 5 years. I still live in the Muslim community, but they have no idea that I left Islam and converted to Christianity. So, as far as they're concerned, I'm still Muslim because I haven't declared my apostasy. So, for these past 5 years, I've been maintaining this facade that I am a Muslim. I will have to confess that maintaining this facade has gotten harder over time, and I have faced consequences for that. Pretending to pray Salah, i.e., the 5 daily prayers, has become harder over the years, and as a consequence, my parents have gotten angry at me so many times for not seeing me quote unquote pray unquote. They have also gotten angry at me whenever they don't see me fasting and being religious in the month of Ramadan. Concealing my apostasy from my family is very frustrating because I am not being my most authentic self around them. This is because I am not ready to deal with the negative consequences. For many ex-Muslims, leaving Islam comes at the cost of being on the receiving end of disappointment, harassment, and violence from their own family members and community at large. I don't hate my own family, but it would not be safe for me to come out, at least not yet. I'm not sure when I'll tell my family. I'm not even sure when I'll even move out my parents' house. This is something that I'm going to need to think about. I didn't speak out online about my views, stories, and experiences until a year ago. It was only a year ago that I decided to actively speak out. I spoke to many ex-Muslims and Christians online, and after doing that for several months, I realized that I had the potential to make a difference, and that the best way to do that is by starting my own YouTube channel. I uploaded my first video in December of 2021. When that happened, my video received a lot of positive feedback, which encouraged me to make even more videos. My channel is still relatively small and I have only uploaded a handful of videos, but what I have accomplished on my channel so far has been so therapeutic because I actually have a voice. I actually have a platform where I can express a part of myself that I have not been able to express before, and now I can do it in front of the whole world. I'm going to continue doing this. I know that there are some Muslims who don't want me to speak out and would rather have me be silent. They don't like what I have to say, and they don't want to hear what I have to say. I know that if they could, they would not hesitate to have me silenced and deplatformed, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to continue speaking out, and they can't stop me. The second reason is that this channel helps me express my individuality. I am a very individualistic person. I'm so individualistic that I am actually a dissenter in two different communities. I'm a dissenter in the Christian community because most Christians are Trinitarians, whereas I'm a Unitarian. I also believe in annihilationism, i.e., the view that the souls of the unsaved are destroyed in hell and cease to exist, rather than remaining conscious and burning in hell for eternity. So I take two minority positions in Christendom. I'm also a dissenter in the ex-Muslim community because a good majority of ex-Muslims are atheists. This isn't to say that there aren't a lot of ex-Muslim Christians. There's actually a lot more of them than many people realize because so many of them are in the closet, so they aren't active online. Most ex-Muslim atheists also aren't even active online because they're also in the closet. The ex-Muslims that you see active online represent a very tiny minority of ex-Muslims out there. Most ex-Muslims are also busy dealing with non-religious affairs in the real world, which is another reason why most of them aren't active. So ex-Muslim Christians like me are tremendously outnumbered by ex-Muslim atheists. Not to mention, most ex-Muslim Christians are Trinitarians. I've only spoken to 2 or 3 ex-Muslim Christians who are Unitarians like me. So I'm a minority within a minority of ex-Muslims. I don't get full support from the ex-Muslim community and the Christian community because I am a dissenter in both communities. But it's not just my religious beliefs and journey that makes me so individualistic. In addition to that, there's other aspects of me, such as my personality, nationality, ethnicity, interests, and life experiences. All of these traits combined make me the individual that I am. When taking all of these aspects into consideration, I'm very different than the ex-Muslim personalities and Christian polemicists out there. Granted, I have only uploaded a handful of videos on my channel so far, but anyone who has watched my videos should clearly be able to tell that I have a very different style and approach than the likes of Apostate Prophet and David Wood, for example. And I prefer to keep it that way because I don't want to compromise my individuality. There are a lot of ex-Muslims and Christians that speak out against Islam, and I have a lot of respect for some of them. The ones that I have the most respect for are Abdullah Samir, Hassan Radwan, and the late Nabil Qureshi. But as much as I respect these guys don't represent me. No ex-Muslim personality or Christian polemicist out there represents me because we're not all the same. We're not all the same because we don't all share the exact same traits. Granted, it is a little awkward that most people in the ex-Muslim movement are atheists, when I myself am not an atheist. But at the same time, if it wasn't for the impact that the ex-Muslim movement has had for the past several years, I probably would not have had the confidence to start my own YouTube channel. There are so many ex-Muslim YouTubers and activists speaking out. There are so many ex-Muslim organizations out there. If it wasn't for the impact of people like Abdullah Samir, Harris Sultan, Apostate Prophet, Hassan Radwan, Viduvids, Mimzivids, and many others, I probably wouldn't have started my own YouTube channel. If it wasn't for organizations like the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain and Ex-Muslims of North America, I probably wouldn't have started my own YouTube channel. These people and organizations paved the way for others like me, an ex-Muslim Christian, to have the confidence to start speaking out, and I thank them. The impact that the ex-Muslim movement has had is part of what inspired me to start doing what I'm doing, and I hope that this movement inspires even more people. The third reason is that this channel helps contribute to the ex-Muslim movement. One of the goals of the ex-Muslim movement is to normalize dissent in the Muslim community so that more people can leave Islam with less risk of being harmed. Out of all religious communities, the Muslim community is by far the most resistant and intolerant of dissent. Apostasy, in particular, is a huge social stigma that we want to break. Speaking out online helps normalize dissent. The ex-Muslim movement has had a lot of great progress, but we still have a long way to go. The more voices we have, the more progress we make. There are 13 countries that implement punishments for apostasy, which can vary from imprisonment to the death penalty. In these countries, the state dishes out the death penalty to apostates who openly declare their apostasy and refuse to quote-unquote repent, unquote, after a 3-day waiting period. There is also the risk of vigilante killings when overly loose cannons lack the patience to allow the state to go through the judicial process before killing apostates. There are even more countries that implement capital punishments for blasphemy. Blasphemy and apostasy tend to go hand in hand. So you can literally be killed for expressing beliefs that the society doesn't like. But it's not just capital punishments that ex-Muslims have to deal with. they also have to deal with disappointment, harassment, and violence from their own family members, so as a result, many ex-Muslims remain in the closet due to fear of being harmed. Being in the closet also sucks because you are basically being forced to hide and compromise important aspects of your identity, rather than being your most authentic self. Granted, I'm not exactly a big name in the ex-Muslim movement, but I have already spoken to some prominent ex-Muslims and become good friends with one of them. My channel is growing all the time. I believe that my channel will assist the more prominent ex-Muslims in their goal of normalizing dissent in the Muslim community. I would love to help other ex-Muslims break free from the stigma so that they can live more authentic lives with less risk of being harmed. I want to contribute to that goal by sharing my own voice. The fourth reason is that this channel helps other ex-Muslim Christians. As an ex-Muslim Christian, one thing that I used to be frustrated with was the lack of ex-Muslim Christians speaking out online. I'm not talking about ex-Muslim Christians in general, but specifically ex-Muslim Christians who decided to publicly come out and speak out online for the whole world to see and hear. I left Islam in 2017, and since then, there have been a lot of ex-Muslim atheists speaking out, but not so many ex-Muslim Christians. The most prominent ex-Muslim Christian was Nabil Qureshi, but he died of cancer in September 2017. I'm hoping that my decision to speak out helps encourage other ex-Muslim Christians to also speak out. If I manage to do this, this helps us grow and connect. The fifth reason is that this channel helps Unitarian Christians get more recognition. It goes without saying that Unitarian Christians are a minority of Christians in Christendom. Many Christians often brand us as heretics and say that we're not Christians because of our rejection of the Trinity. I myself have been on the receiving end of hostility and condescension by some Trinitarian Christians. However, I will acknowledge that many Trinitarian Christians have also been very friendly and kind to me, so credit goes where credit is due. Not to mention, Dale Tuggy recently had a discussion with William Lane Craig on the Trinity and nature of God, so we are getting some recognition, but we still have a long way to go. I believe that my voice and status can help Unitarian Christians get even more recognition. Anyway, these are all the reasons why starting this channel has been so important. I hope everyone understands the reasons that I gave. Thank you all for listening. Please make sure to like the video and share it with others, as that will mean a lot to me. I hope you have a nice day.